Testing, testing, testing. Test, test, test. Testing, testing, testing. Test, test, test. Testing, testing, testing. Test, test, test. Testing, testing, testing. Test Ickles. Testing, test Ickles. Test Ickles. Welcome everyone to episode 728, 28 of the Daily Mother. Whoa, the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gaincast, Mancast, Pimpcast, and just absolute jackcast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Welcome everyone to episode 728. Thank you so much for joining me on the live cast on Twitch, twitch.tv/Swolenormous, and also on Facebook and YouTube. And of course, you can catch every episode on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. As everyone comes in through the door, I have a very special guest. We do have a live call today, and it's with Emily, and I'm going to bring her on in just a moment, and we are going to talk some serious nutrition. So those of you that have been really amped, that were excited about yesterday's episode, everyone that tuned in for the squat mobility episode 727, that got technical, that got real. Today's episode is going to be some amazing, amazing nutrition talk. We're going to talk about inflammatory foods. We're going to talk about the elimination diet. We are going to get into all of it. And without further ado, let me bring back on the line and bring Emily back. So here we go. Emily, you still there?
I am still here.
Yay! Welcome. Can everyone hear Emily okay? Welcome to episode 728, Emily. You are now live with the Swole Nation. So I'll give you a moment just to introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about you and how you came across Swolenormous and how you kind of started your fitness journey. And then we'll jump into what we're just kind of discussing a few moments ago. All right.
Okay.
Super cool.
So my name is Emily. I'm living. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. My name is Emily. I live in Minnesota. Got out of the Army and, went to college and had an internship and single parent. I started putting on some weight. So like everyone that I have come across, we join a program that my hospital offers, kind of like Jenny Craig, the bars and shakes. I lost about 30 pounds, and as quick as I lost it, I started gaining it back. I decided that who likes to feel like crap all the time? So I got a personal trainer, started lifting weights, absolutely loved it. But in the meantime of all that happening, I started having stomach issues. Have the VA is helping me. I have a regular primary care. I've had so many doctor's appointments. And I finally came across Swolenormous, talking about fitness and food. I didn't realize how much of an impact just what I was eating made. So that's kind of where I got stuck. Joined Swolenormous X, and I'm on week 5, day 5 of the 90-day dash, and I am so happy I am here in my journey.
Well, I am too, and anyone else that's been a part of this community and has seen great progress, I'm sure feel the same way. Let's get into a little bit more uh, about your, I would say, that kind of that eye-opening experience where we started talking about nutrition, because as a single parent, as someone who has struggled with digestive issues, because you lost let's start from the beginning. You started some kind of like a weight loss. Was it calorically restricted, or was it pre-made meals when you started that the hospital program? Let's go back
Uh,
there and then we'll take it forward, because nutrition is going to be, it always starts, it's always where you begin your journey trying new things.
sure. It was caloric restrictive, but it was the meals. I didn't do the meals. It was like a grocery plan.
Okay.
So I just did their protein shakes, and then they had bars, and then they, went over food portions and what fit into my calories for the day.
Okay.
I did learn portion size and all that, but now looking back, all the ingredient list was just astronomical. So
Okay, so they had shakes and they had supplements in addition to eat these
mhm,
foods, make these choices, and then have a shake for a snack or something like that. So overall caloric restriction,
right,
you said you lost about 30
yeah.
pounds, and then After you
Mhm.
stopped, what was your process for going back, or I guess reassimilating back into society? Did you just go back to eating the way you were? Did you just let the floodgates open,
Well,
or what was it?
I don't think I just was like, "Oh my god, I want those." I mean, I felt good, but they give you these, I mean, essentially candy bars, the granola bars that are brownie, and so you go to the store and you're like, "Oh, yeah, that kind of looks like what I had there."
Ah, I
So
see.
but it's not the same,
No,
you
no,
know.
no, it's not. It's
So
actually a brownie.
yeah. So yeah, I was just making, thinking they were relatively foods,
Mhm.
and they're not. And at that time in my life, I was getting used to working overnights, and my body telling me I was hungry, but it was 4 o'clock in the morning, so I was eating more, and yeah, it was just kind of a revolving door.
So that's a little bit more of a that's a different unique twist to it all, because a lot of people listening actually do work third shift or evening shift, but that's a very important aspect of your nutrition. So let's talk about that for a moment. Being up all night, how has that affected your progress? Because now you've been seeing progress with the elimination process and isolating certain
Right.
foods and testing on yourself and seeing which foods that you react best to and unfortunately worse to. How did your evening schedule factor into your struggle?
Um, in the beginning, it was a huge factor, but I've been doing it for about 4 years now, so my routine is pretty concrete. Um, but I do think that my progress, I probably could be further in my journey, or my progress probably results if I would be sleeping and eating at the normal times.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like I don't really know. It's just because this is the only way I've done it.
Well, that's a good thing too. You don't know anything else. You don't know any other way. Your body will change a little bit in terms of what it reacts to in terms of hormone balance, because obviously being up at night is not
Right.
natural for a person, but you will also find a new balance because your body will adapt. So you've been doing this nutrition thing, or trying to lose weight, trying to improve your health ever since you started working nights. So you're working nights from the very beginning.
Correct.
Okay. And when you came across, so someone shared a video, a nutrition based video with my content. So what was your, and because there's a couple things that I wanted to get into with, you were telling me that you make multiple meals and the elimination. So how did you start once you found whatever video I made, whatever video about inflammatory foods or eliminating foods? What did you do? What was your process? Because you had some experience with the weight loss guide before, because you've done it already. You had lost some weight, you gained it back, but you've experienced going through that process. So how did you start with the elimination?
Uh, well, I really kind of went a little crazy on your SoundCloud and just
Nice.
listened to listened to every episode that I could find about nutrition and inflammatory foods, and I would put you in my pocket of my lab coat so I could walk around and do what I had to do,
That's
and
awesome. That's
you
so
were there at
cool.
work with me,
That's so cool.
and so I was writing stuff down, as I went, about foods that you said to eliminate, and I'm like, wow, maybe I did I eat that? Have I eaten that? When's the last time I've eaten it?
Mhm.
Um, and then really, when I really got stuck, and I then was excited to listen to the next one, is when I joined. And then talking with you on our one-on-one,
Yep.
and I did order that plant paradox, and it's still not here yet.
Oh, the book?
But
Okay.
I found the shop. Yeah, I did find a shopping list
Yep.
on the premium website.
Yes.
So I went to that, and I went to my um, co-op here in town, and I found some free range turkey, and since that was on the list, and kale I like, and I had sweet potatoes that you were pretty gung ho about, and I've
Love
kind
them.
of had them here and there in life. But
Love them. I love me
that's
some
pretty
sweet
much
potatoes.
that's pretty.
I had one before we came on the call. I had one before this episode. So you started observing more. So you would say it started as more of
Yeah.
just listening, observing, not so much, "Oh, I'm gonna do this," and boom, you did elimination diet. You just started kinda plugging in a little bit more and just being more conscious of what you're consuming?
Yes.
Good.
You
That's
got
good.
me excited. All the doctors I've seen, nutritionists, they've put me on the FODMAP diet.
Yep.
Focusing on different sugars, and then right before I spoke with you, I went to another nutritionist and just kind of word vomit everything that I have been saying and everything that I've been eating. And I've been logging my food, trying to find a pattern. She told me that there was everything I've done. That's what she would have told me to do. And then there's really nothing else that she can advise me to do. I'm like, well, thanks. This is a waste of my time.
Yeah. Well, that's for
Um,
sure. Yeah.
and yeah, I was pretty upset. So
So
didn't really know what my next step was going to be. I've been doing this for frustrated for years.
yeah, and I can understand how that would be frustrating, especially when you assume that when you go to a, proclaimed, I guess, through society, an expert, a nutritionist or a dietitian.
Mhm.
I guess the disconnect, and it's unfortunate that just the educational process that's available now, or that they went through in terms of the system, information is so much more freely transferable now and accessible. So everyone has access to not just a dictionary, but everyone's personal dictionary, everyone's personal opinion, everyone's experience, literally in the palm of your hand, right? With a cell phone, you can literally look up anything you want. So now we
Yeah,
have the difference of, instead of lack of information, we have all the information, potentially too much information. And then now we have the issue of how people actually get started and literally just getting off your butt and getting started, because now there's so much information, you almost get paralyzed. How did you manage that?
yeah.
How did you manage, because you've been going through and trying all these different things and putting this into practice, trying one diet, trying one system. How did you not get overwhelmed when you hear me, for example, talking about eliminating this and cut back on this and cut back on that? It can be very overwhelming to someone. How did you not get overwhelmed,
I,
or did you even process it that way?
I was overwhelmed. The last time I have saw my doctor, I was almost, in tears because I'm just so frustrated that my ribs hurt, my back hurts, my stomach's so bloated, I'm uncomfortable. Um, I, I, is it in my head? Is it, what do I need to do? And I guess she had said, well, did you do yoga? Do you want to, try another pill? Um, I just, when I heard you, it just gave me a spark, I guess, that, maybe it's this. I've never heard this before. And, I've never really dedicated, like, I've cut eggs out. I haven't had dairy for over a year. I feel
Yeah.
like I've made sacrifices and I still don't feel better, but I've never cut everything out like I have with the elimination diet. Like, I pretty much am on kale, Napa cabbage, fish once in a while these past few weeks, but the turkey, I haven't had coffee, and I'm okay with that at the moment.
Wow. Good
Um,
for you.
but I've never really been this dedicated, and I just am at the end of my road, and I needed something,
Yeah.
and this is what I
Well,
have.
I'm impressed. A lot of people would have gotten so burnt out and so frustrated and overwhelmed that it would have been just completely the opposite. It's hard to be it's hard to invest yourself completely when you've had so much struggle or so many failures and so much frustration. It's very easy to give up. But what's interesting is you'll have two schools or two groups. You have the type of people or the type of person that would have been overwhelmed and just completely just incapacitated mentally and just wiped out and would have given up. But then you have yourself, who took that as a fire and took that as
Yeah,
inspiration to give it 110%, so to speak. So that's a very turning point mentality because nothing was different. Nothing was different in the sense that it was another thing to try, but if you didn't give it 100%, you wouldn't have seen the progress and you wouldn't have seen the light, so to speak, and seen that there is hope and that there is an opportunity for you to feel better and for you to make progress. Um, I just had,
Yeah, I
yeah, go ahead.
started depending on myself.
Right. That's you're the
Right.
only one that you're the only one that you can depend on, really. You need to be able to depend on yourself and take
Yeah.
responsibility for your own health. So you did that and you are still doing that. What have you what has been, I know we've kind of coded over it and talked about it, but let's just segue this in here. What has been your experience thus far? Because obviously you're seeing progress. What are let's get into a little bit more of the detail on that, on what you've noticed as a food or type of foods that you do not agree well with? Like, what have you found out through your what is essentially research?
Um, I I know that I can't have watermelon.
You
Um,
can't have watermelon?
I
Oh, that's like
can't.
my favorite fruit.
I know I can't. I know. I think strawberries are okay. I haven't tried them since the elimination diet, but
Wow. Okay.
I do know that the bread, getting rid of the bread, I had that. I was telling you earlier, the Fat Kid Friday.
Yep.
Had bread and salad dressing, and I had a piece of cake,
So this
and
is but just to
yeah,
clarify for everyone else, the elimination diet, the whole approach is just in case I don't think we actually really talked about what it is. The elimination diet
sorry.
is no, that's not your fault. That's mine. I just want to, just in case someone's coming in for the first time, they're thinking, what do you mean you're eating this? And how do you know? When you do the elimination diet, you're cutting out the foods for anywhere between 4 and 6 weeks or longer. And you're cutting out certain commonly inflammatory foods and any food that might be in question in order to reset your body's sensitivities. So, how long have you cut out these foods? Because I want to talk about that Fat Kid Friday experience because that's really the turning point where you realize the damage that these foods have been doing and really that kind of compounded illness or those compounded problems that can lead into chronic disease when you realize how much impact one consuming it one time has. Imagine doing that weekly or daily for 30, 40 years. You can see why these diseases perpetuate themselves and come about. So how long did you eliminate all these foods before you had your Fat Kid Friday?
I did the elimination diet like strictly for 4 weeks.
Okay.
But I've been dairy free for about a year. So
Okay, and so now go back into the detail on what you did on that Friday. So at this point, you had cut out everything for about 4 weeks, and what did you consume?
right.
What did you go back to eating that on that
Um,
day that you hadn't been eating?
we went to a fundraiser dinner, and I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, this is okay. Well, we're gonna do this."
Mhm.
So I had, salad dressing, which I normally don't have. We had like a chicken cutlet and red potatoes and green beans, and it had like a cream sauce on it, maybe. And of course, it was good. I'm not gonna lie, but definitely not worth the 3 or 4 days of rib
3
pain,
or 4
bloated.
days. 3 or 4 days.
Yes,
Wow.
from like a meal.
Wow.
Yes.
And that's what's interesting
So
about that is people consume and that cream sauce, we can assume there's dairy, there's sugar, there's other kind of stabilizers and stuff, the salad dressing included.
mm,
But that is literally what people deal with every day. And most of society is eating foods right now. Those of you that are listening and watching, many of you are eating foods every single day that is causing your body issues 2, 3, and even 4 days later. You just don't notice because your body has built up resistance to these things. Your body is always at war. And when you remove those enemies, when you remove the dairy, when you remove the sugar, when you remove whatever it is, right, Emily, that what was causing you particularly
yeah.
issues, and then you add them back in, those defenses are no longer there. So then the real damage or the real effects of those foods in your body is now exposed. And all of a sudden you're feeling
Right.
that how horrible you felt for 4 days. That's what your body was dealing with every day at a low level. Go ahead.
I Yeah, you don't really know how I didn't know how good my 4-week elimination diet was
Yeah.
until it got really bad. Um,
Like, yeah.
I don't want to feel like that anymore. I'm sick of it. So definitely am feeling better today. 7 days after, this morning I woke up and went to the gym and came home and ate, and I'm like, wow,
So was that 7 days
this
ago?
is going to be a good day.
Was that Fat Kid Friday 7 days ago?
Yes.
Oh, so it's like the 1 week
Yes.
anniversary of you no longer feeling like
Yeah.
crap anymore. So it's a that really hits close to home then. That's really, this is
Yeah.
perfect timing for this phone call. Okay, so
Yes.
honestly, and I think you just literally you really made this point for me because this is what I wanna always reiterate is once you do the elimination diet, that's not what really seals a deal for you. It's when you have the reaction after going back to the food that you always thought you loved, that always treated you right. "Oh, this is my favorite food, my favorite junk food." You go back to that what was always a classic comfort food, and it destroys your world. You go back and finally,
Yeah.
"Okay, I'm gonna treat myself, I'm gonna test ice cream." And you remember ice cream your entire life, and it's such a wonderful thing. You sit on the couch and you watch a movie, eat ice cream, but then you have violent convulsions and sweating and diarrhea
It's
and
not
cramps
worth
and
it.
bloating for
Yeah.
4 days, you aren't looking forward to old trusty ice cream anymore. You don't care, you don't wanna see it, you don't wanna have
No.
anything to do with it, and it's amazing. That's the turning
No.
point because once you have that experience, then you realize the power of food, that it's real, that everything that I talk about on the show and everything that you've literally experienced it. You can't take that experience away, and that's really priceless.
Yes, and it is, and it just really solidifies in my mind why I have 3 people in this house, and I make each of us a different dinner. I need to eat the food that works for my body. My daughter will eat pretty much like me, but instead of a sweet potato, she might have a red potato, and my boyfriend eats keto. So we all eat something different, but we all eat what we like, and I buy them different foods, but that's what works for me.
That's
Even
impressive though,
working the swing shift.
having 3 different meals to prepare, or that's usually a challenge for most people, is their husband doesn't wanna get involved or their wife doesn't want have anything to do with changing a lifestyle. You need a lot of support. So would you say that you have a supportive household? I mean, if he's doing keto and your child's eating well, it sounds like everyone's kind of on the system.
Yeah, my boyfriend is supportive. I can do what I need to do, and I support him with how he wants. I kind of give him a hard time about not eating vegetables all the time, but he's fine with it.
He should be eating
Um,
vegetables if he's on keto. You should eat vegetables.
well, not as much as I think he should. He's a big fan of bacon and cheese.
Wow.
Um, but but my daughter, she's done yoga with me a few times. I've taken her to the gym. She does like running and swimming, so she does the best that she can. Of course, she's a kid, so she likes sweets, but she knows that dinner time is a good meal for the day, and um, she's happy.
Good, and she'll eat what you give her, right? Because 'Cause you're in control.
Exactly.
You're the
She definitely
you're the
will.
parental unit, and
Yes.
that's where the parent comes into play rather than, "Okay, I'm not a friend, I'm not trying to produce happiness, I'm trying to produce survival and health." But that's
Right.
the education, and that's you wanting to pass on you feeling good, and also she's got your genetics, so I'm sure a lot of does she have any similar that you're aware of? Does she have any similar allergies or intolerances that you do that you've noticed?
I'm surprised, but she doesn't.
That's good.
She has, some. She's like, "Mom, you can't eat that." I'm like, "No." She's like, "Oh my god, it's so good." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't even want to look at it." But I'm happy that she doesn't have the issues because
Of
she
course.
knows. She's like, "Oh, your stomach hurts today, doesn't it?" I'm like, "Yeah."
But
So I mean, she
that's
knows
something that
that
could be
everything
created.
isn't.
You can also acquire those intolerances depending on, how old is your daughter?
She's 13.
Okay, so she doesn't have the life experience or the exposure to certain foods in the same way you have. So it doesn't mean that she's not predisposed to those things. It just means that maybe that hasn't, you know, permeated her small intestines. It hasn't created an issue or she hasn't had that exposure to certain foods that might have caused inflammation, that might have created an intolerance to certain foods. So whatever it is, that's a good sign. I was curious about that because sometimes things could be more or less inherited. I would think certain sensitivities could be probably passed along
Uh,
genetically.
yeah, my dad, he doesn't do dairy very well, so he doesn't eat. He'll maybe have a bowl of ice cream every now and then, but no milk, nothing like that. So he understands where I'm coming from most of the time.
Yeah, that's one of the more common ones. Would say is dairy is one, if not the most common, and then you also have, of course, wheat and so forth. So what's your plan now? Because you went back. Okay, so you had 4 weeks of the elimination. You had your Fat Kid Friday. Your 7 days post Fat Kid. Where's your head at now? Where's your head at? Where your eyes set? Are you going back to the elimination, or are you just going to modify that? Are you still adding foods back in and testing? What's going on?
Well, since last Saturday, I went back to the elimination diet with just the sweet potatoes and kale and the turkey. So I've been doing that for another week just to kind of get back to the start again.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I kind of like the way I feel, so I'm probably gonna do this for a little bit longer, and maybe add one food at a time. I have definitely noticed a difference taking out the grain. I was a big rice cake fan. That was really a hard thing for me to give up, and my powdered peanut butter, that was my snack every single day.
Oh, the PB2.
Uh, but yeah, yeah, loved it. But man, I feel so much better without it. I I don't know. I'm kind of just enjoying the good day, so I kind of want
Once
to
you're
see
not
how
in
long it will last.
yeah, well, once you're not in pain, once you're no longer in either, I would say, muscular pain or joint pain or
Hmm.
inflammatory pain from food, your main goal is really never to get hurt or never to be in pain again. I've had even like just knee pains and things from training, just from use, tendonitis and things that come up once in a while. And my whole training philosophy, it's a win when I'm not sore, or I wouldn't say sore, like muscularly sore, but where my joints don't hurt. I feel good. I don't want to be in pain. I think that's a coming of age thing. As you get older and as you get into your 30s, 40s, 50s, your goals change. You don't want to necessarily have a six pack or look a certain way as much as you just don't want to hurt. You don't want to be uncomfortable because that's no way to go through life. That chronic pain is
Yeah,
brutal.
right. I just want to feel good.
That's it.
And it's funny that you just said the joint pain, but that was a huge thing for me to notice after my Friday. My ankles and my fingers were like felt like icy hot. They were
Huh.
cool and then hot and were swollen. And
So
that, going to the gym, I'm like, I can't. Like, I've been having a hard time gripping my weight. I
interesting.
just can't hold on.
So you have
So
joint pain, you had
yeah,
bloating.
I'm
What
so
what were your other symptoms? What were all the symptoms you were feeling after last Friday?
uh I was nauseous, terrible gas.
Mhm.
Almost felt like I acid reflux. But it's mostly the bloating because I would get rib pain because my stomach is so bloated, and then my back would hurt because I couldn't stand up straight.
Mhm.
Um, and then just things from not being able to stand up straight. My legs hurt, my knees hurt, my ankles. I was, trying to rotate my ankles to get that cold hot sensation out.
Wow.
And I just felt like I was just a mess.
Yeah. Wow. That's really, you really had it all. You really had it all.
Yeah,
You had all the feelings. It's like, which ones did you feel? Which ones didn't
yeah,
I feel? Man. Yeah, that's
yeah,
enough to make anyone never want to eat bad or go off the rails again. Like if that's not convincing enough, if that doesn't put the nail in the coffin, I don't know what would. I mean, who wants to go through that? How was how long would you say you've been, I guess, recovered from that experience? Because it was only 7 days ago. You said it took about 4 days for it to subside, or you were still feeling them
Y-
yesterday, day before. How long did it really like take?
It was, Saturday where I started feeling it, but Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday were
The
pretty bad.
okay.
Um, but Wednesday I started feeling better.
That was 2 days ago. Yeah,
Then
so
yesterday,
right.
yeah.
So it's essentially, it almost takes you out for a week because it's a few days of being uncomfortable, and then when it subsides slowly, it's not just disappears. Okay, so you're back on track, and
Right.
now you're probably now you're just afraid of food. You're just avoiding anything that like violently that's off your list. But that's an important, I guess, landmark that you've crossed, that you've
Yeah.
accomplished. You've passed that checkpoint where you realize that you can't pull this on your body anymore. It's time to get serious and stay this way because your body's different. It doesn't handle this. It says no. And when your body says no, it's just that's the way it is. So, okay. So you got your food organized. And how's the training
Mhm.
going for you? How have you been organizing your workouts or your training around the elimination? Because obviously you're taking out a lot of things and it can be a lot of new stress in the body, different types of exercise, along with different eating styles. How was that doing it together? Because it sounds like you did them both at the same time.
Um, I well, because I was lifting before, I mean, I still got to keep the same
Mhm.
schedule, but it definitely different moves and I mean, it's all new,
Right.
but I like it. I definitely feel like my mobility is better, my strength is better. I actually enjoy like I like having a list of like what's tomorrow and I go over your videos and I get excited for the next day. Um Yoga is I wasn't a real big believer before. But I am starting to enjoy it. I
Yes.
have to relax. I think I told
Yes.
you in an email. I have to learn to slow down.
We all do. We all do,
Um,
Emily. That's
yes.
that's a huge thing. I've been super involved with my own personal meditation even and just slowing down in a different way, but the mind controls everything, and when you start practicing yoga, and I mean really practice, like do it consistent and improve and really be in the present with your movements in that way, it will you realize more and more how interconnected and how singular the mind and the body is, that it's not separate, it's together, and they're very, very integrated. It's one of those things where you have that realization, you feel how the breath works and how your body moves as one system, and then along with your nutrition, you're just
Hmm.
observing your body more. Have you felt that you're more aware of your physical feelings since practicing yoga specifically?
Yes, I definitely think that it doesn't it carries over into my weightlifting too. My sets and my breathing and tightening my arms and my glutes and my core. When I'm doing all my sets and so it does definitely carry over into everything. Standing up straight at work and being able to hold my posture. It does play into all aspects of my life.
Yeah, no question about it. That's one of the things that I noticed the most when I started doing a regular yoga practice was how much it carried over with
Hmm.
the mental game, but also with the physical. Once I started practicing yoga, just the length of my muscles, the shape of my muscles, the aesthetics, and also the strength because you're working a lot of the muscles that are underworked normally with weight training. You're balancing out the hips more and like you said, posture. Uh, so
Yeah.
you're on your way. You're on your way. You have your support system down. Your nutrition is obviously under more or less lock. It just needs patience and consistency. Your training has ramped up, so you're on a good pattern and you have that kind of flow. Where do you see your next challenge? Do
Hmm.
you foresee something? Is there something that you're currently dealing with now that you know you can improve? Or is it more or less, let's just downshift into cruise control and just keep it at this pace?
I definitely don't want to do cruise control. I did do, one of my goals in January. I did a boudoir shoot, so that was kind of something that I worked for
Cool.
a few months.
Mhm.
And that was an amazing experience. Any woman in the entire world, she needs to do one. Just an empowering lifting experience. It was awesome.
Awesome. Very good. Good for you.
Um, Yeah, yeah. But now, like, I'm super excited about the content you're putting up on X Premium
Mhm.
with the new videos to fit in, so I can do this 90-day dash again.
Yep.
I absolutely love the virtual trainer. I will continue to do those. It's so funny to laugh out loud when I'm working out and kind of It's so fun. Like,
That's
it's so much
awesome.
fun. I hope that you continue doing those because I thoroughly enjoy them.
That's awesome. I will, and I
Um,
do, and I do. I have, there's a few more that I haven't, that I'm actually in the process of editing, so I'll I'll try and get another one up because I wanted to launch the program vault and put a couple new awareness workouts in there. And like you said, you're gonna be able to easily swap those in for, the 90-day, like, that scheduling, directly, so, you can progress your training
yeah.
and manipulate a little bit more, so yeah, I'm so glad you like the virtual training. I know, it's kinda it's different, right? It's different actually being there and listening to me make fun of people that are in the gym, I guess.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I've had a personal trainer, and I mean, it's not the same. It's just it's fun, and I can stop and re-listen or pause it,
Yep,
and do just a work beginning set, before I added any weight, and make sure if you go too fast, I'm like, it's okay. I'll pause when I'm done, and I can catch up.
exactly.
But then you motivated me by, okay, I'm putting more weight on. I'm like, well, hey, wait, I can do that too. Even if it's 2.5 pounds
That's
or a
it.
5 pound weight, I can do
Yeah,
that. It's fine.
absolutely.
So yeah, it pushed me. So it was
Awesome.
good.
Well, awesome. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you like that. It's super fun to make. It's super fun to do those, just because I know people are going to be. Because I feel like when I'm doing it, that's so that you and everyone else is working out with me. So it's kind of like I have a training partner, even though I'm laying down the track. So that's awesome. So
And people aren't laughing at you because you're talking to yourself in the gym.
I zone out. I have a hat on, and they probably are. I think people look at me because I'll swear, or I'll get pissed off, or I'll do something, and I'm sure I tune out so many people now just because I think people just leave me alone because they're thinking, okay, this guy's just like talking to
Yeah.
himself and like growling and grunting and has his head down the whole time. They're probably afraid. But yeah, I always wonder what I look like in the gym. I probably look like a lunatic. But so you're Yeah, I don't think that necessarily cruise control is maybe the best way to think about it. You always wanna make progress, but it sounds like you have all your
Yeah.
ducks in a row. You have a great thing going on, and there's probably just that overwhelming just aspect of relief, the fact that you kinda have something that's working and that's taking you where you haven't been, and you're, isolate it's great to figure out stuff. It's great to know, "Okay, this is what's causing me problems," or to have some answers finally, so I'm really glad for that.
Yeah, I'm so happy because, to have more bad days and good days, and to just be mentally exhausted to just keep going. Even though, I felt like I was making sacrifices and putting good eating habits, and I was going to the gym, and like I stressed, why I'm not stressed. Well, how could I be stressed? And then to find out that it was, it's going to just take a little bit of time. I need to have patience. I need to slow down. I
Yeah,
need to take it all away instead of taking, eggs out for 4 weeks or 3 weeks, and well, I still don't feel good. And then eating them again. Well, that's not really solving my problem. So I was, doing the elimination of one or two things at a time, and then I'm like, well, I still feel like shit, so let's just go back and eat them. Why sacrifice having a good meal if it's still not? I'm still gonna feel like shit, so I might as well eat it.
yeah.
So I was, kind of down for a while, but then I had to do something. I was
Those
just
f those
miserable.
foods were
So
being masked. They were being masked by the other things that weren't being eliminated at the time, so I guess they were still being consumed, and
right,
you weren't seeing each one for individually what it was. But it does get exhausting, and what's really interesting is that you were trying, and you were doing your best. You were trying different roads, and those failures led to the current success. And that's the way you have to look
yeah.
at those
I mean,
experiences, because you had to do those to know that they didn't work. What if one of those did work? Then we might not be having a conversation. You might not have ever needed to come across my content because maybe one of those things would have worked. I mean, you never know. That's why you try things.
yeah, and I feel like I went to some pretty great extremes. I mean, all the doctor's appointments, the endoscope, the gallbladder test, the
Wow.
abdominal ultrasound. Like I got my tubes tied because I thought the copper IUD that I had was or the metal in my body was making me bloated and abdominal
Ah,
pain. So, I mean, I've done everything that I could to to try to solve my problems, and for each of those things to not work, ugh, it sucked every single time that
Yeah,
I didn't have any relief.
that's a lot,
So
and that's a lot of time to get those tests, to get the results back, to just fight your way through that. That's extremely stressful mentally, not just and mentally, and the mental
yeah,
game bleeds over into the physical, and it's kind of like a vicious cycle. And all that time, it could just come down to the fuel, but that's powerful stuff.
yeah. So the only, I mean, not the only thing, but having the routine of, if I'm working overnights, or if it's my week off at 8 o'clock, I'm at the gym 95% of the time. So to keep myself in a routine, to keep going, and to at least for that 45 minutes to an hour that I'm at the gym, it's all about me. I can focus on me, and that was kind of my stress relief, that I really needed for myself. And at the beginning, it's not easy because you're like, oh, I could be sleeping, or why am I here? But then, to get into my routine, and now if I don't go, or I mean, I usually don't go Saturday and Sundays. I usually am just doing stuff around the house. Um, but every work day, every weekday, I'm there, and it's my time, and I make sacrifices for my plans around it, because gym is number one
As it should
for
be.
me.
And if you and you are living proof that if you prioritize it and you make it that important and you make it non-negotiable, that you will find your progress, you will find your rhythm, you will find, and you never gave up. You never gave up. And actually, there's a comment here on YouTube from Nicole. She says, I know you. She goes, hey, I know her. Emily is one of the most determined people I know. She has accomplished so much on her journey. She continues to work hard and be fierce despite any obstacles in her path. So she has just succinctly stated what we have all found out ourselves here on today's podcast. You never gave up. You never gave up. You never stopped. You never quit. And you wouldn't be here today if you did quit. And sometimes it's just that simple.
Nicole is an amazing person. She has definitely been my shoulder to cry on many times. So thanks, Nicole. That's awesome. But no, I have a great life, and I need to be a part of it. And I can't do that when I'm depressed and not feeling well. And I don't want that to be an excuse. So
I,
I,
I love
no,
that.
I'm so happy where I am in life.
I love that. I love my life. I have a great life and I need to be a part of it. That kind of sums it all up right there. You need to be a part of your own life. And if you're unhealthy and you're dealing with all these issues and you're struggling and you're frustrated, you can't even enjoy the wonderful life you have. So I think that's extremely, extremely powerful and descriptive. What I want to do right now is just give you the opportunity. I know we've talked about a lot of different things. What advice would you give, having some perspective? Uh, maybe especially coming from all those trials and tribulations, all those failures or micro failures to get to where you are right now, your mindset, where you've seen success, you finally broke through, right? You kind of cracked the code and found some things that are making you or helping you move forward, right? You're seeing progress finally. What advice would you give listeners and viewers that are in the same boat? Because a lot of that's all that happens until you succeed is you fail until you succeed. You're not going to get
Yeah.
results or you get small until you break through. What would you I mean, is there anything that you can offer them, some perspective that you have now that you didn't have when you're in the thick of it?
It's worth it. I mean, it's all the tears, all the frustration, to finally feel good, or have a good day. It I just can't tell you enough. I am so happy with the progress. It was just all worth it, because I couldn't live like I was living before. I know that I had, the doctors were trying. I was doing what I thought I could do, but I really had to give it all. I had to start all, like, wipe my slate clean, and start fresh. And it's worth it to be happy, to feel good about yourself. If you can't give up those rice cakes, or you can't give up your chocolate cake, you know what? Well, try,
Those damn rice
do
cakes.
it, and then I know, they're so good. Um, but I tell you what, I feel so much better. I have one stack in the cupboard. I don't even want it because I know that it's gonna make me feel like crap. It's not even a temptation. And that's big for me to have all this other food in the house and know that, man, do I want to work out tomorrow? Do I want to feel good? Do I want to be able to sleep?
Right.
Do I want my ankles to bother me? That is so weird, but like my ankles hurt, like they icy hot and burn, cool. Like yep, that sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. No good.
So
No way.
all of that can stay. I don't even want it.
It's funny because
So
I have that in my own fridge too. I'll have some beer like in the door at the bottom, and I just look at it. Okay, there's beer there, and I just don't do it. I almost have things
yeah,
in my house on purpose just to look at it, and I think it's almost just to reinforce willpower subconsciously. You just want to see it so you can turn it down and keep on like coding over it every day and just be like, I don't need you, and then move on.
yeah,
You know, it's like a constant
yep,
reminder of the other path or the other way you can go. I love it. I love the fact that if you love yourself and you realize that you are worth it, it makes all the effort worth it as a result. So it comes down to appreciating yourself and wanting the best for yourself, and that's it. And if you don't want the best for yourself, the results prove everything. If you don't give up and you keep on trying and you're doing things for the right reasons and you're putting yourself in the forefront because you have to be healthy so you can be there for your spouse, so you can be there for your boyfriend, so you can be there for your child, so you can be there for your friends and for people that depend on you. It's important. It's important for yourself first and
yeah.
foremost, but then everyone else benefits.
Yes, I want to be the best possible that I can be.
Yes.
I want to be able to love them and do things with them, and I can't be that person if I'm sluggish and my stomach hurts and I can't participate in activities. So I want to be a part of their life and enjoy them as much as I know they want to be in mine. So for me to be the best, that I need to do what I have to do, go to the gym and eat turkey and but I like that stuff now. That it's good. I like it, and
Yep.
I'm sure eventually I'll add more things. But right now, I feel great. Um, I I wouldn't change a thing.
And you feel
You
great.
don't know
So
how bad you have it
that's
until it's
yes.
it's
And you
good.
want to keep that. You want to keep the good feeling. So that's all that matters is making sure you feel good and listen to your body. Everyone that's listening and just listen to your body. Your body will tell you. Your body will tell you
Yeah,
what's good, what's not good. If you listen and you give your body the opportunity, it will give you amazing feedback. But I just wanted to say again, thank you, Emily, so much for being on the show today. Thank you for sharing everything and all that with us. I know there's been so much, and if you're just showing up now to this episode, make sure you go back and re-listen to this episode. Amazing content. You really drop some amazing knowledge nukes and just perspective that everyone needs, everyone can benefit from, myself included. So again, Emily, thank you so much for being here.
yeah. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And let's talk again soon. We'll have to follow back up and see if you had another fat kid day. So everyone in the
Okay.
Swolenormous nation is going to hold you to your nutrition now. Now you have to support and you have to do it for everyone because we don't want to
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay without it. No more fat kid Fridays. But yeah, thanks again, Emily.
No more.
Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it and keep on crushing. You're doing fantastic.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We'll talk soon and I'll send you a message after the call just to follow up.
Okay.
All right. Have a good one,
Bye.
Emily. Bye-bye. How awesome was that, fam? Just the amazing perspective that that can provide each and every single one of you is priceless. Priceless. Absolutely priceless. I can't tell you how much on nail on the head, nail on the head that entire conversation was. Everything that she was going through, everything that she was struggling with, everything that she had to overcome, that is absolute textbook. And that's what you need to kind of overlay as like a filter in your life. You have to take exactly everything that Emily just said and you need to apply that to your personal experience, to your life, because that's that's like that's all of you. That's all of you. I heard your voices because I've had so many conversations, and everyone that comes into Swolenormous X and the private community, I've talked to each and every single one of you, and there's just so much similarity with what she went through. And the most important thing that you can take away from this entire interview is the fact that she never gave up. She had all the frustrations, she had the surgeries, she had the tests, and she had all these things that she had to go through and endure to figure out from professionals, from doctors, from nutritionists, from all these people that are supposed to have the answer. But sometimes those answers are right there in front of you. Even if you don't realize how to get those answers, it's all through your own actions. It's through your own responsibility. It's through what you put on your own shoulders. And she took responsibility for her health. She took responsibility. She's still taking responsibility. I had a fat kid Friday and I tried these things. And for 4 days, I felt like shit. Well, not going to do that anymore. She absolutely never gave up. That's right, Michael, on Facebook. Perseverance. She never gave up and she still isn't giving up. How many opportunities did Emily have to give up? How many opportunities did she have to stop? How many opportunities did she have to say, you know what? I'm just destined to be miserable. I'm just destined to be bloated. I'm destined to have pain. That's just who I am. I'm damaged. It's my bad genetics. It's my luck of the draw. I got the short end of the stick, whatever the fuck it was. Every single excuse possible, she had the opportunity to quit and make an excuse. She had every single opportunity. I think we can all agree on that. She had every single opportunity to make the excuse that she couldn't get it done, that she couldn't execute, that she wouldn't be able to get results ever, 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 ever. She could have stopped so many times, but she didn't. And that's the only reason why she is where she is today, because she didn't stop, because she didn't give up, because she kept on trying. She kept on trying different things and trying to push herself and do better and do better and do better. And that is the key. Sometimes it's just so simple as not giving up and trying something else, because you might try 10 different things and they might all fail. But that 11th one that you didn't try because you quit after number 10, because you quit after number 10, you didn't try number 11, and number 11 is what worked. You quit after 15 and number 16 is what worked. But you never found that out because you stopped after 15. So, how bad do you want it? How much value do you put on your own health? Are you worth it? The answer is yes, you are worth it. Do you realize that you are worth it? You are worth your health. You are worth the time of an investment. You are worth the gym membership. You are worth getting up early. You are worth buying healthy food, even if it means spending more money or driving a little bit further to a different supermarket to get the food that you need or ordering it online. You are worth that extra effort, but you have to believe it, right? I can light the fire. I can make these videos and maybe I'll wake something up inside you, but you still have to do it every day. You have to believe in yourself. You have to perpetuate this. I might be able to get you going, but you have to do this every day. You have to surround yourself and create this environment. So it really comes down to you taking responsibility and realizing that you're in control of that forward movement. You're in control of that effort. You are in control of doing it every single day. All right. So that's fire for a fucking Friday. It's an amazing Flex Friday. It's an amazing day. It's an amazing life. Treat your body with that kind of respect, and let's all carry that through today, for ourselves and for those around us. Thank you so much again, Emily, for taking the time today for that phone call. Thank you, everyone watching live and listening on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. Those that are watching live, twitch.tv/Swolenormous, and also at Swolenormous on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you, everyone that's tuning in live. Thank you, everyone that's listening to the podcast. And thank you for joining me for episode 728 of Zadeli Mother Swole, the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast in Sarel. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. I'll see you all today in Swolenormous X. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce, Magoose, a Papa Swolio. Oh, 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 oh. Out. I'll see you tomorrow for 729. Peace out, fam. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching Twitch. Peace out. Sayonara. Later, Facebook. See you guys tomorrow. And peace out, YouTube. Love you guys. Bye.